Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. Stand up for your country. You know, one of the consequences of having a basically dishonest press is that politicians in both parties, can pretty much say anything they want because it won't be reported as fallacious by the so-called journalists that support them. And therefore, we are seeing, I think, historically, more dishonest statements than any other time from politicians. They can get away with it. Now, this kind of deception, very harmful. Because again, I've said this far too many times, most Americans don't pay attention. They just hear stuff. And what they're hearing a lot of times is very dishonest. Now I'm going to prove it. And that is the subject of the Talking Points memo this evening. So yesterday in Florida, President Biden used abortion to attack Donald Trump. There are a number of things in play here. Democrats understand that their pro-abortion stance, they accept abortion, they encourage abortion, they want no limitations on abortion. All of that is helping them in this secular country. They understand that. So not only do they encourage abortion, they demonize people with an opposing point of view, the pro-life people. They demonize them. They are violators of women's reproductive rights. So Biden is the leader of this movement. He himself doesn't really know what he's saying, but they put stuff in front of him and he's happy to read it. Now, last year, 2023, there were more than 1 million abortions in America. More than 1 million fetuses were destroyed. Okay. That is the highest number in more than a decade, according to the Guttmacher Institute. Now, some of those abortions were necessary. Catastrophic damage to the mother, even death. And the baby inside the womb, damaged beyond repair. So some abortions were necessary. That is a fact. Most were of convenience. The mothers simply did not want a child. That is the truth. Okay. Now, in the United States, there are 19 states, individual states, that have no restrictions on abortion. Up until 15 minutes of birthing, you can destroy the unborn in 19 states. 14 states have intense restrictions. Idaho, Arizona, states like that. Very hard to get abortions there. 17 states are in the middle. They have some restrictions, but abortion is accessible. So that means 36 states in the union, you can get an abortion. Keep that in mind. There is no state that bans abortion completely. None. So, enter Joe Biden, who yesterday was again touting that he is a champion of the abortion process. Go.
The Supreme Court was wrong. It should be a constitutional right in the federal Constitution, a federal right. And it shouldn't matter where in America you live. This isn't about states' rights, it's about women's rights.
Okay. Apparently to Joe Biden, there is no moral question here at all. None. To me, and I mean, he's a guy who's raised Catholic, he goes to church, and he's got no, it's not like Mario Cuomo, the Democratic governor of New York in the past, who said, look, I don't believe in abortion, but I'm not going to impose that belief on other people who see it differently. Not like that. Biden, right, we need a constitutional, it's like, oh, man. And then Biden enters the land of deceit. The first one wasn't deceitful. He believes it. Joe Biden believes there should be no limitations on abortion at all for anything. That's what he believes. And he's not alone. But now he goes into the land of deceit. Go.
It was a political deal to get rid of Roe v. Wade. A deal. Political deal he made with the evangelical base of the Republican Party to look past his moral, if they look past his moral and character flaws in exchange for his commitment to appoint justice to the Supreme Court who would overturn Roe. Don't think he's making a deal right now with MAGA extremists to ban nationwide abortion in every single state, because he's making it. In fact, the MAGA majority in the House of Representatives has introduced three separate bans to ban choice nationwide in every single state, based on the state, each state.
That's just a lie. Nobody is proposing any law that would ban abortion in every single state. Not happening. There's no proposal. Nobody's doing it. And Trump himself, okay, very clear. I'm glad the states can decide the issue. That's my point. I've known a man for more than 30 years. He doesn't, as I said, doesn't care about these social issues. Doesn't care about abortion. It's like, get it off the table. He knows it hurts him in the Republican Party. So Biden just gets up there and says this gibberish, and nobody challenges him on it, okay, except me. And then some of our other conservative commentators, and I'm not a conservative commentator, by the way, I'm an independent, but there are conservative commentators who call him out, but they never get mainstream exposure. Okay, so I'm going to make a very controversial statement. I told Hannity on his radio program I was going to do it tonight on the No Spin News. And Hannity said, oh, you're going to get in trouble for this. And I'm maybe, okay, but that's not my concern. My concern is putting things in perspective. And I believe this, that if there is a judgment day after we die, I would not want to be Joe Biden. And that's a memo. All right, today he signed the bill giving aid to Ukraine, Israel, some Pacific nations. And they're on the road to banning TikTok unless TikTok divests from the Chinese government. I support that bill, as you know. We'll get into that a little bit more later. Tomorrow I'm going to do two things here on the No Spin News. Number one, we're investigating who is backing these crazy anti-Israel protesters, where the money's coming from. That we'll have that from what we know tomorrow. And I'm going to do a incisive talking points on the people who oppose giving aid to Ukraine and Israel. All right, J.D. Vance, that kind of, Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're going to do a memo. It's going to be fair. Okay, Trump's trial was off today. And again, I'm not doing this micro. I looked at a little of the coverage last night. CNN and NBC are heavily invested in destroying Donald Trump. I watched a little bit of both. It was appalling. I know all I can say. It's just appalling. Well, maybe this, that, maybe that. There's no reporting, none of that. I wrote a message of the day about it on BillO'Reilly.com. Anyway, tomorrow, Supreme Court will hear oral arguments related to the January 6th prosecution. This is the special prosecutor Smith saying that Trump wanted a riot at the Capitol on January 6th. Trump says that's not true, and I vented my opinion, and I'm allowed to do that because I was president. That's what that case is all about, oral arguments tomorrow. Now, yesterday in New York City, the prosecutor, Alvin Bragg, the DA of New York, I don't know how this guy survives, but he does, finally, after all these months and the trial already starting, said, well, here is the crime. What Trump did is a violation of New York election law 17152, quote, any two or more persons who conspire to promote or prevent the election of any person to a public office by unlawful means, and which conspiracies act upon by one or more of the parties thereto shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Okay, it even says misdemeanor, but Trump is charged with 34 felonies by Bragg, who says, no, we're bumping it up because it's an election violation But it's a federal election, and Bragg has no jurisdiction there. So this thing, no matter what happens, is going to go to the appeals process. And even if Trump is found guilty, it'll be thrown out because they don't have the right to do this. And it's not a conspiracy. I'll put heavy money on it. If you want to bet me, I'll go to charity. But, that's what I did with Rosie O'Donnell on News Nation last week. She had no clue about what was happening. And I said, I'll bet you 10,000 to big brothers and big sisters that Trump doesn't get convicted. Now he may get convicted in New York. We were talking about the national case. But it'll be thrown out because this is insane. It's crazy. They just made it up. Now, will a jury in New York City understand that? Depends on the skill of Trump's lawyers. If it were me defending Trump, I would damn well convince the jury that this is all made up. Doesn't matter what Stormy Daniels says or the National Enquirer guys. There's no crime. Okay. Latest Biden-Trump poll, Marist College poll, 1,047 registered voters, evenly between Democrat, Republican. Who do you support? Biden 51, Trump 48. So the polls have shifted a little bit over the last week or so in Biden's favor. Sorting through your expense tracking, estimated payments, and all those tax deductions can be overwhelming. It might even lead to a failure to file and failure to pay penalties that pile up on your tax debt. The attorneys at Tax Network USA have been lifesavers for many. Their team has successfully saved clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you're in the hole for $10,000 or starting at a $10 million debt, they are ready to help you. The expert attorneys and tax professionals at Tax Network USA are equipped to secure the best settlement for you and help you resolve all tax cases. So please go to tnusa.com/bill, or you can call 1-800-245-6000. These tax debt relief programs are expected to change, so get to them now. Visit tnusa.com/bill or call 800-245-6000. Tell them O'Reilly sent you. Okay, let's go to the mail. We got Donald Sanchez, Matthews, North Carolina. As an evangelical, there are certain life choices Trump has made that do not escape me. I do not condone, applaud, or sanction those behaviors. However, number one, Trump is not running for clergy in chief. Number two, the other opponents in the race are far worse choices. Okay, and I think that's the overall feeling of most evangelicals in America. Stephen Barr, Monument, New Mexico. O'Reilly, I believe your historical analysis of U.S. involvement in Ukraine is incorrect. And we like that. We like dissent. Stephen goes on to say, we are not watching a repeat of 1938. We are watching a repeat about 1963 Vietnam. The ruling class is using the fear of communism to justify U.S. intervention. Now, as then, the best way forward is for the USA to disengage. Well, Stephen, here is the flaw in your argument. Number one, in 1963, North Vietnam was not a threat to the world. It was a threat to Southeast Asia. But the North Vietnamese Communist government wouldn't have any effect on Europe or the United States. We went over there, the United States, to protect the democratic country of South Vietnam. North was communist, South was supposedly democratic, but it was corrupt. We did the same thing that Truman did in Korea. Putin is a threat to the entire world. Surely you know that. So if you're going to compare North Vietnam to Putin, there's no comparison at all. So if Putin manages to win and take over Ukraine, Putin will not stop. Nobody thinks that Putin would stop. He'll go to Moldova. He'll go to Azerbaijan, whatever it may be. He's trying to put back together the old Soviet Union. Putin wants to create chaos in the world. In addition, he is allied with China and Iran, the axis of evil. Just like in 1938, when Hitler allied with Italy, okay, and had sympathies in Spain with Franco. Franco didn't sign on, but he was sympathetic. So if you don't see it, okay, I respect your dissent, but I'm right. I know Putin. I know what he wants. You don't stop him in Ukraine, the whole world becomes more dangerous. Taiwan, say goodbye. Now, some Americans don't care. They couldn't give a hoot whether Ukraine is run by Putin, Taiwan is run by the Chinese. They don't care. I kind of know what's going to happen to the world if it descends into this kind of chaos. Economically, a disaster. John McCrate, Lynn Haven, Florida. O'Reilly, watch you every night on the No Spin News. I keep hearing about America supporting Ukraine, but I never hear anything about the European countries giving their support. Well, then you're not listening. NATO is supporting, every NATO country supporting Ukraine. They don't give as much money as we do because they don't have as much money, but their support is, particularly Poland and the countries that are right on that border, okay? Nobody in Europe, no NATO nations are backing away from this. They're all united in it. And that should tell you something. John, concierge member. Bill, do we still have a functioning legal system in America? What do you think it will take to put Humpty Dumpty back on the wall, rapture or World War III? Look, certain states have effective legal systems, mostly the smaller conservative states. New York does not. Total collapse of the justice system here in New York. California, same thing. Massachusetts, not as bad. Illinois, terrible. Go state by state by state. Feds, as corrupt as it comes. Justice Department, got to clean them all out. If Trump wins, he'll clean them all out. If Biden wins, it'll get more corrupt. Okay, Vincent Bickler, Beechwood, New Jersey, is a recovering problem gambler whose life was saved by a self-help program, Gamblers Anonymous, at age 32. I was disappointed you did not mention that young men can secure help from their addictive gambling. If they do not stop the madness, there are certain outcomes: prison, mental breakdown, or death. Yeah, I know. And I should have said Gamblers Anonymous is available. I kind of assume people know that, particularly because every television commercial and radio commercial for promoting gambling says if you have a gambling problem, you cause. But I'm glad you wrote, Ben. Richard Rogers, Garland, Texas. Hey, Bill, you saw George Soros' son at the Knicks game, but you didn't know it was him. Correct. I would like to think even if you had known it was him, you would have been polite and civil. I would have. Not the appropriate venue to dress the guy down. Okay? And I wouldn't have done that. All right. We have a poll on BillO'Reilly.com. Should Speaker Johnson be replaced? So far, the results are pretty surprising to me. So you might want to go to BillO'Reilly.com and vote in that poll. And I will not be on Cuomo tonight. I have another engagement. I will be on tomorrow on News Nation with Cuomo. Now, that segment is taken off. And I know that because wherever I go now, people know who I am mostly, and some of them mention that. So we will be on News Nation tomorrow with Cuomo, 8 p.m. We want you to go into our store and pre-order Confronting the Presidents, the book you will never forget. And if you re-up or sign up for premium membership, you get the book free, or any of my other killing books, out September 10th for presidents. And we have the best mug we've ever had, Not Woke. We will begin shipping this mug, I guess, within 48 hours. And if you want, when you get the mug, take a picture, send it to me. And it's great Mother's and Father's Day gift. And then we have another mug that you can buy two for mom and dad. You don't want to be a cheapskate. Self-reliance. Key to success in America. There they are, great mugs. Then we have a book bundle, Killing the Witches, The Legends, The Killers, The Mob, Crazy Horse, 33% off. Tremendous gift for mom or dad's day. A word of the day, do not be captious. Nobody has ever said that to me, but I'm saying it to you. Don't be captious. CAPTIOUS. When writing to me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. Name and town if you wish to opine. Back with getting old. We're all getting old, even the urchins, in a moment. As you know, Mike Lindell has a passion to help you get the best sleep of your life. His famous Giza Dream Sheets are the best sheets you will ever sleep on. For a limited time, get a queen size set for $59.98. King size just $69.98. These are the lowest prices in MyPillow's history. Mike and MyPillow employees continue to be canceled by some big box stores and attacked by the media. They appreciate your great support during these times and want to thank you by giving you free shipping on your entire order today. So please go to mypillow.com or call 800-869-0298. Use promo code BILL. You get the famous Giza Dream Sheets at the lowest prices, so call 800-869-0298 or go to mypillow.com, promo code BILL, to get free shipping today. As another critical election nears, America is gripped by anxiety. Recent studies show that 56% are feeling dread about the upcoming presidential vote in November. That's why I stand with AMAC. It's more than a senior discount organization. AMAC fights for common sense and a return to traditional American values. Visit amac.us/O'Reilly to grab an exclusive election year special, a 4-year AMAC membership for just $30. Members get access to money-saving benefits, the AMAC magazine, free Social Security and Medicare advice, a trusted voice in Washington, and a community of like-minded patriots. Take advantage of this election year special. 4 years for just $30. Be a part of the solution. By joining AMAC, you strengthen a movement dedicated to preserving our cherished principles. Please join now at amac.us/O'Reilly. That's amac.us/O'Reilly. Okay, final thought of the day. Are you old? Are you? Come on. Are you old? So there is an article, actually it's a study, published in the Journal of Psychology and Aging. And it asked seniors at what age would they describe someone as old? Now, people in their mid-60s say, 75. If you're 75, you're old. These are what people in the 60s say. Now, as you get younger, then the 20-year-olds will go, if you're 50-year-old, you know how it is. Remember Paul McCartney's song, When I'm 64? Okay, he's 81. McCartney. And he can dye his hair all day long. He's still 81. He can still, do the concerts and everything. So old. I got to personalize this because I'm getting up there. I don't ever think about it unless it impacts on what I want to do. So if I couldn't go snorkeling or diving, which I can, thank God, that would tee me off. I'm too old to do this because I like to do it, right? I acknowledge that there's nothing I can do. I don't take Botox or I'm not going to the plastic surgery. I just think that looks so bad. I don't know. I'm going out the way I came in. Anyway, I don't even consider that I'm old or getting older, and it doesn't matter as long as I can function the way I have in the past. But here's my litmus test. This is what I tell everybody. You watch me, you listen to me on a radio. You put up 36-year-old, 45-year-old, 53-year-old against me in a debate. I'll beat them. I'm still the fastest gun. That is my litmus test. If some younger person comes in and kicks my butt in a debate, I may have to admit that I'm old. Until that happens, and I hope it never does, but it might, I'm not copping to that. Keep myself in good shape. Okay, diet is the essential. I had some key lime pie last night. Oh, so good. But now I got to walk that hill. I got a big hill in my neighborhood. I got to walk that hill about 5 times because of the key lime pie. But it was worth it. But that's what I'm doing now. I'm calculating, all right, if I eat this, then I got to do that. It's a trade because you got to keep yourself in good physical shape if you can. And mentally, I mean, I'm always reading. I'm always doing this stuff. Now, tomorrow, I might collapse entirely. I may become Joe Biden tomorrow. Okay? Then my staff would have to write everything on a teleprompter. I don't use a teleprompter. This whole 42-minute broadcast, there's not one word written down. I do it all at the top of my head. So don't call me old. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.